Everybody, really exciting news. After Microsoft acquires Activision Blizzard, Steve will be taking over as Chief Executive Officer. Congratulations on the new position. I think you'll do great there. You'll be great leadership. I'm sorry. You didn't make the cut. You got to. I laid him down nicely. Let's get into the news. Skip it up and that up. So a few days ago, Bobby Kotick had a all-hands-on-deck meeting, obviously regarding the Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition, which is the biggest acquisition in the gaming industry ever. And there was a whole bunch of words. There was a nice big word salad, but nothing directly was addressed. Probably because Bobby Kotick is going to be walking on as many eggshells as possible to make sure his payout is as big as possible so he can leave with the biggest golden parachute ever when he leaves, because you know he's going to leave Activision. There is no way Microsoft, with all of the controversy surrounding him, including threatening to kill someone via voicemail, which he did admit to, and a PR spokeswoman came out and defended him and said, yeah, it was a little taken out of context. He did say it, but it was hyperbolic, and you left a message saying you were going to kill somebody. It's not a good look as a CEO. Well, anyway, this is the gist of what went down during this fireside chat. I'm going to read it to you. This comes from Kotaku.com. Then we'll discuss, because I understand why the employees are nervous. As originally reported by the Washington Post, this fireside chat took place over a video conference and fielded questions which were said to be submitted by employees via email and were read by the chief people officer. Didn't even know that was a thing. Kotick was late for the session, and it was only 16 minutes long. An anonymous Activision Blizzard employee told Kotaku they knew other employees submitted questions about the major issues going on there, including gender discrimination and all the other horrible things, but Bobby just pretended they didn't exist. That's a smart thing to do. It's a terrible thing to do, but I know why from his perspective. He wants this deal to just be done with so he could go off with this nice big check off into the sunset, and he wants as little controversy around it as possible because he's done. He has his lottery ticket, so he doesn't really care about the concerns of his employees. This is the end. This is the sunset chapter for him. This is the final chapter of the Activision book. He just wants to leave with his payout. But let me continue. Quoting Bobby here, I can tell you that my commitment to the company is to remain in my role, Kotick told employees. Once the deal closes, what I've committed to Microsoft is I will stay on as long as necessary to ensure that we have a great integration and a great transition. Now, people are taking him saying what he's saying is that, look, I'm done with the company. I'll help the transition over to Microsoft owning Activision Blizzard, and then I'm out. Which we've kind of corroborated before with other inside sources saying that as well. And plus, I just don't see, he's a liability now with what he's tied to with all the drama around Activision. Microsoft is going to want nothing to do with that, especially because of the big check they're going to be cutting to buy Activision Blizzard. Do you think they want as little bad press around it as possible, because this is a huge investment for them? And what one of these insiders said to the Washington Post is that, and I'm quoting here from Bobby again, the transition is going to be smooth because Microsoft is committed to trying to retain as many of our people as possible. That definitely means there's going to be more layoffs. There's without a doubt going to be more layoffs, and that's also what Activision Blizzard employees are concerned about, because they should be, because even when Activision has had great fiscal years, they still lay off people. I've talked about that before. That's literally happened. That's been a thing. This is what else Kotaku's source said. He, meaning Bobby Kotick, said some very surface kind things about how much he cares for the teams and employees that make up ABK. If he actually cared, he would address the concerns submitted. But he doesn't really care, first and foremost. And secondly, even if he did care, he cares more about his own ass and covering it as much as possible so he gets the biggest payout that he's probably going to get. He wants to make sure he gets that payout. He wants to make sure the check is as big as possible. So he is going to be walking on eggshells until this acquisition actually goes through. I guarantee it. And this is what else the Washington Post Activision insider said. He likened Activision to be as important as his children, and I feel like he will not let go of it. No, he will. He absolutely will once a transition goes through and he gets his nice big check. With no mention of the strike, the lawsuit, or any of the continuing issues, there may as well not have been a Q&A at all. We could have read a press release and slept for an extra 15 minutes. But I'm sure he knows that too. Bobby Kotick is not dumb, but he wants hey, I talked to my employees. I didn't really talk. I didn't answer their concerns. I didn't answer their questions. I talked about whatever the hell I felt like talking about and tiptoed around issues. But at least from a PR standpoint, I am having a fireside chat. So here is something else that's a positive about Microsoft acquiring Activision, is that hopefully the culture there will change. I mean, look, Microsoft hasn't been perfect. Even Phil Spencer has said it before in the past, but nothing along these lines, at least that we know of, has happened at Microsoft, at least as of yet. And I know that Microsoft is not going to want to hurt their reputation by letting that toxic culture bleed into the Microsoft work culture. So hopefully things will improve. I think they will. I think that'll be a benefit for the Activision Blizzard employees. The reality of it is, from what Bobby's saying, there is going to be more layoffs. I've been in that position where I've worked at jobs before when they were things like that. And even if you ask them, they're not going to tell you if you're going to be laid off or not. And, Bobby is setting himself up to have a nice big payout, and he's just going to walk off into the sunset and buy a few yachts, and whatever damage he and his other terrible cohorts inflicted on the employees of Activision Blizzard, he's probably going to get away with. He's going to, here's your slap on the wrist with a $300 million plus payout. You can't run the company anymore. Enjoy your life-changing money. He already has life-changing money, but enjoy even more of it. It's screwed up, man, how people in positions of wealth and power could get away with things that other people can't. Everyone should be held accountable equally, but welcome to crony capitalism. This is Rich at Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.
Baka.